New year, new way of investment, new year resolutions. I bet you've looked in the mirror and thought, well, this year is going to be my year. I'm going to make some money out of property, out of my investments, whatever it is. I've done over 10,000 hours of property investment, and I've actually consulted on almost 10,000 different property deals, cases, people's portfolios over the 10 years that I've been investing and teaching everyday Australians how to invest in commercial property and doing it in my own buyer's agency. So today I'm going to save you some time. I'm going to share with you the top 3 mistakes that you don't make in property so that you can actually get to your destination faster. Whether that's accelerating your portfolio, getting more cash flow, more growth, or simply just getting it right the first time so that you can save literally tens and thousands of dollars. My name is Helen Tarrant. I help everyday Australians become wealthy through investing in commercial property, and I'm going to help you too today by teaching you what are the mistakes to avoid, plus at the end giving you some quick tips so that you can launch the right way in 2025, and how here at UniKorn Commercial Property, myself and my team can help you get to your destination faster. So let's get started. Mistakes, right? These are the things to avoid because these are pitfalls. Once you get in there, it can literally either send you bankrupt or literally cost you tens and thousands of dollars, and you're unable to hold your property for the long term. You lose out on the capital growth, you lose out on cash flow and the uplift that you have, right? So let's get started. The first thing that most investors get wrong is they do not invest in education. They think, okay, look, I have gone out and I've spoken to my uncles, my aunts, my friends, a couple of financial planners, and I'm ready to invest. I've read some magazine articles, and I've looked at the auction results. I've compared some properties. I've done some research analysis. Yeah, great. I'm ready to buy. No, you're not. Just because you've watched 20 hours of YouTube videos because you've been consuming for 2 or 3 months, and then you've maybe attended some free seminars and people have done some introductions, or maybe you've talked to a financial planner or two, your uncles and friends and whatever it is, doesn't mean you're ready to invest. And look, this is the brutal truth. A lot of people think they are. Then they go out and they pick a property, and 3 months or 2 years later, they find out they've made the wrong mistake, purely because you've never invested in education. Now, what exactly is education? Do you have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars? No, you don't. But it's systematic, right? And most of the time that requires reading a book or 5, watching all of the YouTube videos of one particular or 2 particular experts, but also enrolling in their courses and their community, right? To understand who's who and what's the players. Now, I'm not doing that because I have an education course on commercial property. I'm only doing that because I know that when I first started in commercial property, there was no such courses, and I learned by hard knocks. Were there properties I could have negotiated harder? Absolutely. Properties that would have been different if I went to a different area instead of investing there? Absolutely, right? I could have tripled my money if I invested my money in a different town versus the town I invested in, because I didn't know, I couldn't find, and I didn't invest in that education. So you need to invest in education, and that means spending some money, right? And I know it's hard. It's like, oh, I can just invest. Yeah. But if one expert can save you $10,000 on a negotiation, on picking the right property, on buying one versus the other, saving you on some outgoings or capital costs, you've already made your money back 10 times, because you're going to go forward and repeat again and again that strategy. So investing in education is one of the fundamentals. People who are high net worth, people who are highly, who leverage really fast, people who scale really fast, invest in education. And I myself invest in education every single day. I buy lots of courses, I go to mentors, I listen to lots of podcasts and audiobooks, and I buy education, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is analysis by paralysis. So now you've got all the information, right? You've got so much, you've got a course, you've got YouTube, you've got a data spreadsheet, whatever it is. You're now analyzing every single deal that comes through, and you don't execute and make that offer. That is the worst mistake you could make, amongst not even knowing what you're actually buying because you didn't invest in education, is that you go out there, you think this is a really good deal, and you spend time analyzing, you lose the deal, you do it the second time, and 6 months later, the market's gone up by 10% and you've lost out, right? That is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make, is that they simply spend too much time thinking and trying to move for perfection, right? Which leads on to number 3, is looking for the unicorn, right? People come to me and I say to them, well, what is it that you're looking for? And they said, okay, I'm looking for a property that has development potential, that has that uplift, that has cash flow right now, but I want also capital growth on the back end. Commercial property, like any other property, if you're buying residential, that the game of that is growth, right? If you're buying residential, it's growth. The game of commercial is that it starts out with cash flow. But both of them have a cash flow component and have a growth component. A residential property have a cash flow component, it's just very little. Right? You have to spend some time improving it, maybe renovating, extensions, granny flats, whatever it is, subdivisions, whatever you need to do, co-living, whatever, right? You need to then increase the cash flow. But it is a capital gain, right? So you need to support it to let it have a capital gain. Commercial, when you first buy it, it's going to be breaking even. That's a good commercial property. It needs to self-support the first time you buy it, right? So, or it's already starting giving you cash flow depending on where you're investing. So you're getting a property that gives you cash flow already, a property that's already self-sustaining, so the pressure's off you. And then, you need to look at, well, what constitutes the capital growth. It might be that you need to do a little bit of an uplift in terms of tweaking some rents here and there. It might be that you need to go and do a complete gut out, right? And replace the tenant, do all of those things. Or it may be just buy, hold and wait because the market is about to change in the next 12 to 18 months. Whatever that happens to be, you need to work that out on the back end, not looking for a property that has all of these features, because when you do, you're trying to find the unicorn that doesn't exist, which is also one of the reasons that I named my company UniKorn Commercial Property, is because everyone comes to me and they look for the unicorn and we teach them to build the unicorn portfolio. Because you'll find that you do a lot faster and a lot better if you actually buy properties that specifically done its purpose. So this is just a capital growth property. Okay, let's buy it. Let's support it with a cash flow property who just does cash flow, right? Then if I need to recycle my deposit and uplift, I've got the cash flow to support the uplift property. Let's do the uplift, flip it, get the money, buy again, go through this. Rinse and repeat, all your strategies, different times of the market, right? That's how you'll grow faster, because you can constantly continue to buy rather than thinking, should I just buy one? Everything's focused on one. Analysis, lose out another deal. Then what happens is the property market goes up. You never ended up buying anything. You're too conservative. You're too risk averse. You never did it, right? There's risk in anything. And if you plan to invest in property, you have to be comfortable with risk, right? So you can't go and analyze and try to make everything perfect. You can't negotiate. There's certain things in due diligence that you are going to miss. There's certain things in due diligence that will not stack up and you have to take it as is. There's certain things in due diligence that you're going to find the vendor will just simply not negotiate, but the bare bones and foundation of the property is so good you need to take it, right? So these are the things. If you always look for the unicorn or your analysis by paralysis and you don't seek professional opinion, you're going to lose out on all fronts and you're going to end up buying a dud, right? So avoid those three mistakes. Now remember, I've done 10,000 hours and more of this, and I know these are the three things that I constantly see every single day, every single week, that I try to correct my clients, my students away from, so that they can move into the property space much faster and start to leverage. So here's some quick tips, because thank you for watching the video till the end. If you're looking to set a pathway to financial freedom much faster in 2025, commercial property is actually going to outperform residential property. Why? Firstly, because in the last 4 years, commercial property has actually become really, really stable in terms of the consistent capital growth. We've had tenants now have come out of that COVID stage, now going to be signing long leases. We're going to have a drop in interest rate at some point, which will bring commercial property back into positive territory. And also that there is a lot more demand for commercial property right now, and suburban areas are getting filled up with very low vacancy rates, so the rents will start to go up, so giving you more cash flow, but demand in terms of purchasers and very little stock. So therefore, that means that the value of the property is going to go up as well. So that makes that class much better investment, much more secure, and you'll see that in 2025. So here's the quick tips. Number one, watch what the experts do, not what they say, right? Now, experts could come out here and say, and I know a few experts say, you should invest in hotels and pubs, you should invest in co-living, but secretly they're investing in something else, right? Watch what the experts do and not what they say. Watch what they do and repeat what they do. Follow what they do, right? If they're behaving counterintuitively, let's say they're buying office spaces in Melbourne, right? And no one else is. Maybe they know something you don't know, right? Maybe they're investing in commercial, but they're teaching you that you should be investing in residential. Well, maybe there's something else in there, right? Do what people do. Follow what the people do rather than listen to what they say. Go out there, explore your different experts. There's different experts out there in commercial, residential, co-living, developments. Go and listen to all of them, but watch what they have invested in. Question what they've invested in. Look at what they feel are the principles of investing, how they're guiding their communities, right? And you invest and follow that, right? Because action beats everything else. It can be an opinion, right? Everyone has an opinion, but action, where they're putting their own money on the line, is a true testament to what they feel the market, where the market is going to go, right? If they've got a project and they're investing their own money into it, make sure you get a monster, right? If it's a syndicator and they're putting their own money, they're backing that up. You put your money in there as well, right? Especially when you're starting out. Follow what the experts do, not what they say. Number 2, ignore the naysayers. If I listen to all the naysayers in my life who kept telling me I'm not going to make it, I'm not smart enough to go to law school, I'm not bright enough to understand investments, all of these things, right? I wouldn't be here right now guiding a community on commercial property investment, teaching people how to invest in commercial property, really achieving financial freedom through commercial property, right? And continuously investing, right? And that's what you need to do, is ignore the naysayers. People are going to tell you this is the wrong time to invest, that you shouldn't buy, that's too expensive, that area is shit. They're going to tell you all this. Ignore them, do your own research, watch the experts, educate yourself, talk to people, join a community, get a strategy in place, get that crystal clear vision of how much you need to get, go for it, right? Ignore the naysayers, because if you ignore the naysayers, you're going to move much, much faster. And finally, action, action, action. Nothing beats action in taking anybody out in building your portfolio. When I first started in 2016, when I had my education, right, when I launched my education, that year we did $1 million in education sales alone. We were the first in the market trying to teach people how to invest in commercial property, and we were teaching a cold market, and that was a constant effort of being on the road, teaching people, being on the road and doing live events. But also that same year while I was on the road constantly, probably I would say 80% of the time I was away from home, I also bought 8 properties at the same time that I was on the road, right? Action, action, action. And those 8 properties set me up in many, many different ways, right? Whether I'm selling that now, reinvesting that money in many, many different ways in a different trajectory, right? And that's what you need to do. You need to take massive, massive action, but calculated action. So you've done your research, you've spoken to the experts, you're following them, you've got a plan, you've got steps to that plan, and you're executing with calculated risk, not just buying something trigger happy because it just happened to come onto the market. I hear so many stories of people go, oh, this great offer that is a flip, I couldn't refuse, I had to take it. Did you really do your research? Did you really study the market? Did you really talk to people? Or was it just, it became so good that you thought it was so good, right? And you never had time to thoroughly research it, right? Because it was trigger happy, right? Don't avoid the trigger happy, take action, follow what the experts do, and ignore the naysayers. And you will be successful and have that passive income in your hand in 2025 before you know it. So if you want some real action steps, you want to follow me and what I'm doing, where I'm putting my money, click the link below to check out one of our latest upcoming events. We've got a bootcamp coming up in February, so that will be great for you to attend, so you get yourself set up right for 2025. Also booking for that free strategy call where we can lay out these plans for you and start helping you moving forward to your financial freedom goal. My name is Helen Tarrant. I look forward to seeing you at my next webinar, my next events. And in the meantime, make sure you keep hunting, keep learning, keep researching, and commercial property will outdo any other investment in this current market. Bye for now.